I'm going to install an Atom NEXUS. It's a register booster fan to boost the airflow from this register here. In summertime, I don't have too much cool air coming out and the room is very hot upstairs. So this is what I got to install this into the air register and for boosting up the airflow. So the first thing you have to do is to remove this plastic here. Okay, so that's out of the way so you could get a clear, unobstructed outflow. So let's remove this. And all I have to do is to just plug this in. And then connect my power supply. So the power supply is a 12-volt power supply. And it's going to be routed to the corner AC outlet, and then I could plug this in. So I got the AC plugged in, and this is the DC power supply. So I already got a fan speed of 10, and that's the highest setting. That's the temperature. And that is the temperature set for cooling. So when the air conditioning is on, the cool air come out. If the cool air is cooler than 15 degrees centigrade, the fan would turn on. And this is for heating, so when the furnace is on, the air from the furnace coming out is hotter or warmer than 29 degrees centigrade, then it would activate the fan. So that when the furnace is off, the fan would be off. Or when the air conditioning is off, the fan would also be off. So right now, I'm just going to turn the fan on manually. And it comes with a remote control with the same function as in here. And then wall mounting harness for the remote. So just to show the remote operation, so I could turn this on. So the fan is now turned on, it speeds up. And so I could also operate the functions for air conditioning. 15 degrees centigrade is the trigger temperature for the fan. And here is the heating trigger temperature. When the furnace is on, the air is more than 29 degrees centigrade. This fan would be turned on. So this is off.
Hi everybody, this is Let's See with Maisie G, and today I have the Atom NEXUS, and it is a booster fan that goes in your central heat and air ductwork. So it goes in one single duct. It does need to be plugged in. Looks like to me the cord's about 8 foot long. It can come out either side of the deal because you can turn it this way or this way. So it doesn't matter other than maybe this display will be upside down. And then you have a remote. So make sure to pull the little plastic tab out of the remote so you've got that all working. Then we have the on button. We have what they call wind, which is the fan speed. At speed 4, it activates the second fan. So 1 through 3, we've got one fan working. 4 through 9, we've got 2 fans working. And then they get a little louder, of course, as they go faster. Then we have the heat and cool. And of course, there's not an air conditioner, there's not a heater in this thing. But what it does is you set this to the same temperature you have your central heat and air system to. So on the heat setting, if your heat comes on at 68 degrees, you set this heat setting at 68. When that heat's blowing through the vents, this is going to come on and bring more positive airflow. Most of us have at least one room in our house we wish had an extra vent. And this is what this does. It boosts that air coming out into that room. If you've got an aging central air system, it may help some. but no miracles here. It's mainly just to boost and get more air into a certain room. Or it might prolong the life of your unit if you don't have enough airflow going through there. So, neat system. Make sure your expectations are right. The heat and cool is for the temperature of your central air and heat system. Set this to heat where your heat comes on. Set this to the air temperature where your air comes on. And then pick your own speed. You can even dim it for night. And have the fan on its own, although I'm not sure what good that does if there's no cooled or heated air coming through those vents, but maybe you have a reason for doing that. Anyway, it could be used in other areas. My husband's talking about using this in our totally enclosed concrete floor crawl space, or maybe boosting air up from the basement. So there may be other applications as well, but the first one is what it was actually made for. So I hope that helps.
Okay, so I purchased this vent blower, and it's like you can do cool or hot. You can adjust the speed of the fan and the temperature. Have it on. Oops, I turned it off. Turn it back on. I'm going to put it on heat, and you can adjust the temperature. And then turn on the fan. It goes up to 10. And it can be used to add extra heating or cooling using your forced air. It connects right there. And it just so happens that my daughter has a floor vent, and she keeps her outlet right there for her phone and stuff. So that worked great. And again, it's got a neat remote, and here's a magnet on the back with a peel and stick thing so that you can hang it up somewhere, I suppose. And here's, I guess, more mounting options for the remote, and screws to screw it into the wall. And then this is a vent cover. It comes on it, and you might think it's part of the packaging, but it's not. Let me go ahead and shut this off. So when it's not in use, or if you want to cover your vent, you could just put this vent cover on. Let me flip it. How did it go? Oh, here we are. Like that. There we are. So you can use that vent cover, so don't throw it away. But like I said, it has a nice manual. It's not too loud. It works great. I highly recommend it. We used it for this room because for whatever reason, you know, every bedroom or every house has a bedroom that's doesn't get warm enough or doesn't get cool enough. And this is that bedroom. So I think this is going to work out great. I recommend it.
Okay, so I have it on 0 right here. That's the fan mode. That's how much air is blowing through. You can see it's got the fans turning. Anyway, it's just the air underneath pushing the fan blades. But this machine is actually not on at the moment. Look at the difference. You can set the temperature. You can have it to cool, or you can have it when you've got heat on. This is awesome.
Okay, for some reason it keeps setting itself to 80. I'm going to hit cool to attempt to change it, and all I'm doing is hitting one button for cool, and it won't stop scanning itself. It's not letting me change the temperature to the one I want. Same thing happens when I go to fan. It's just scanning itself, so I have to sort of try to jump in and hit stop when I can.
It does just drop right in there just fine. Hooks up with a simple cord. I have it on 9, so you can really just hear the fan humming. Not a really huge issue, but it would be nice if it was quieter. This one is a little more narrow than my vent when the opening was cut. There's a little spacer in there, but that probably isn't your problem. They just had new tile on the floor. They didn't do a great job cutting the hole, but I do like the way it works. Pretty simple. Thank you.
It took a while to figure out at what temperature to set the probe, because remember, the probe measures the air coming off the air conditioner, not the room temperature. So you kind of have to play around for maybe a day, and when your AC kicks on, to check and see at what temperature, when the air starts flowing, you want the vent to kick in. But other than that, this thing has been amazing.